Entitled Mother's quest to have me written up over Fortnite. So I was working at the electronics section of the store I work at, as per usual, when a kid and his mum come up to the register looking to buy the Fortnite deep freeze bundle for his Switch. We've gotten several complaints ever since we first got it, since kids and parents see it and just assume it comes with a physical copy of the game, since it only comes with skins, money, etc. So, I always remind them to just save them money if they're just looking to play Fortnite. I say to them, "Were you looking to play Fortnite, or were you just looking for the stuff in the box?" The kid, looking extremely confused. His mom starts giving me a look like I'm a complete idiot. "What are you talking about?" Okay, just so you know, this doesn't come with the game. It's just a download code for the stuff on the box. You would already need the game to get this stuff. We've already gotten a lot of complaints from parents whose kids didn't know that. Good news is, it's completely free to download, so you can just install it when you get home. You can still get it if you want, I thought you should know. Apparently, in her mind, that translated into me calling her kids stupid. "I think he's smart enough to know what he wants. He's top of his class." Okay. I'm just trying to save you some money. The game is free. Apparently, it's inconceivable to her that something could be free or that she could pay $30 and not get exactly what she wants. Because we kept going in this weird loop for about a minute, with her getting more and more confused. "Look, just shut up and give us the game." I've had enough and I ring her up, deciding that if she wants to play stupid games, she can win stupid prizes. After about an hour or so after they've gone, I go to lunch, and when I come back, a coworker tells me that the entitled mother has come back and she's ticked and waiting specifically for me. Sure enough, when I get there, she's waiting for me with her kid and one hard-ass manager in the store who's bending to the knee as hard as she can for the entitled mother. Apparently, they showed back up right after I went to lunch and were causing a rather large scene because of course their game didn't work. Long story short, she explained to the hard-ass manager that I didn't properly explain to them that what they bought wasn't an actual game, how I called her stupid and her kid stupid, how I cheated them, etc. And now she wants her money back. The hard-ass manager offers her one better and tells me to apologize as well as install the game for her kid, since she has brought his Switch with him. So, I give the most general sorry not sorry apology, and the entitled mother, all too smugly, hands me the Switch. I find Fortnite for them to download in about 10 seconds on the Nintendo store. Of course, it's taking forever to download because we're on crappy store Wi-Fi, and the entire time the entitled mother is talking crap about everything, from my appearance to my lack of customer service skills, and whatever else she feels like berating me with. The entire time this thing is going on, her little crap of a kid is blasting the demo speakers at full volume, starting a new demo song every 2 seconds. Needless to say, I'm pretty angry and on the edge from everything. I'm on the verge of crying since I can't do or say anything back, since nobody is sticking up for me and that hard-ass manager is right there. Finally, after an eternity, it finishes and I hand the Switch back and very weakly tell her it's good to go, before excusing myself to go to the bathroom to try to collect myself. Of course, the entitled mother is following me to talk more crap. Finally just turn around and scream at her, tears in my eyes. "Jesus Christ, just leave me alone!" I finally get into the bathroom, which thankfully was for one person at a time, and spend the next 15 minutes or so crying and trying to collect myself. Eventually I head back, and hard-ass manager wants to talk to me. She explains that I was already in trouble for earlier, but my little outburst was gonna get me written up. Since the entitled mother came back to the section to complain and got a bunch of coupons and gift cards. Wish I could say there was a happy ending to this one, but nope. Entitled mother wins the day on this one. Update number 1. First of all, thanks to everyone for their supportive comments and messages. They really made my crap day better. I'm going to HR first thing tomorrow to try to get this resolved and reversed. If nothing else, I'm hoping that something can be done about this manager. Hopefully I can update with good news. Update number 2. Spoke to HR this morning about the situation that occurred yesterday and have some slightly confusing but hopefully good news. So I was told by HR that since the company I work for is third party, the Miss Hardass manager technically doesn't have the authority to take disciplinary action against me. I had always assumed that she could, since we work inside of the store, but apparently not. HR tells me not to worry about it, since the write-up from yesterday doesn't really have any power over me unless my district manager approves it or something like that. HR also let me know that she'll have a talk with Miss Hardass since she's overstepped. Hopefully the next update will be me with completely in the clear. Update number 3. Miss Hardass came up to me after coming in and presumably speaking to HR to let me know that she was going to contact my district manager about the situation yesterday. I don't know what her problem is, but she just won't let it go. So now I get to wait for that, and I still have to finish my shift. We'll update when I know more. Update number 4. My district manager called me just before the end of my shift to get my side of things. I told her, and she said while she didn't approve of me screaming at the entitled mother, she did understand why. She said she's going to be in contact with Miss Hardass, the HR department, and the store manager. Hopefully this will be the end of it. I will update on any further developments. And finally, update number 5. So, my district manager actually came into the store today to talk with both Miss Hardass and the store manager. I got called in towards the tail end of their meeting, and I got a small verbal warning for screaming at the customer, which I'll take over a write-up any day. District manager came up to me after, and she only did that since she was obligated to, and if it were up to her, she wouldn't have even done that. She asked me if I would like to transfer stores, since Miss Hardass was pushing hard to have me written up and suspended. I told her I would think about it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to take it, since it's closer to my house, and I wouldn't have to deal with Miss Hardass and whatever her personal vendetta with me is about. Very special thanks to everyone who left a comment, sent a message, just kept up with the updates. You guys all have black belts and amazing. Our next story was posted by user Jimmiest of Jams, titled, Entitled Mother Lets Entitled Kid into Our Home Without Permission, then Threatens to Sue for Racial Discrimination. Our cast are me, take a guess, M, Mum, J, Cousin, working on the garage sale with us, K, Auntie, also working with us, Entitled Mother, and Entitled Kid. We held a garage sale this morning that went from 8 AM to 6 PM. The sale has a steady stream of 3 to 5 people at a time, but it was relatively uneventful until about 11:30. I was working the cash register for a majority of the time, and I found people watching interesting from that perspective. My mum was working at the register with me, while my cousin and aunt were walking around and everything, reorganizing and such. At about 11:30, a mother and her son came walking up. I need to mention now that they are both African American, as it's an important detail for later. They did the expected browsing. Entitled Mother looked through clothes and home decor, while Entitled Kid looked at the toys, games, and books. I take a quick lunch break, so I switch out with my cousin, and I walk around the side of the garage and into the house. I get to the kitchen when I hear the door open and close, then footsteps up the stairs. I assume it's my mum, so I keep filling my plate. The door opens one more time, and I hear my mum say my name. "Are you in there?" I respond with a yes, and she asks, "Who just came in here?" I get up to see what she's talking about, and I can see both my aunt and my cousin are at the register. I realize that means that it wasn't my aunt, cousin, or mum that just walked into our house, or that my mum was playing a cruel joke on me, which I felt wasn't likely. So now, someone we don't know is in our house, and that's probably one of the scariest things. My mum goes back outside, and I go upstairs. I specifically remember closing every door upstairs. My bedroom, mum's bedroom, spare bedroom, and bathroom, but the door to the spare bedroom is open slightly. I peek into the room, expecting either a creepy old man or a ghost, but it turns out to be Entitled Kid? Entitled Kid is just laying on the futon couch, watching TV. Hey? I say to him. Entitled Kid just looks up at me, then looks back at the TV. Why are you in here? I ask him. Entitled Kid doesn't acknowledge me at all this time. Hey, I asked you a question, I say sternly. Entitled Kid doesn't do anything again. I walk over to him and grab the remote and turn off the TV. He sits up and stares at me intensely. The front door opens again. Get out! This isn't your house, kid! I'm so glad my aunt came into the house when she did, because she heard and came up. Who is this? Kay asks me. Some kid. I think his mum's outside, I respond. Do you know where your mum is? Kay asks the entitled kid. My auntie walks towards the entitled kid and grabs his hand. She pulls him up and takes him outside. I follow them outside because I'm curious what's going to happen, and I can tell this will make a great Reddit story, and watch Kay reunite entitled kid with entitled mother. It wasn't as happy of a reunion as I thought, however. Unhand my son. Come here, kid. Entitled mother walks over to her. Why was he in the house? Well, that other boy walked into your house, so why can't my son? Is it because he's black? Yes, she really stooped to that level. Ma'am, he lives here. Your son does not. I don't care. You can't kick my son out just because he's black. Jay finally snaps and says, Listen here, bitch. We never said anything about you being black, and we never said anything about having a problem with you being black. And your son can't come into our house because no one gave him any permission. We can and will call the cops if this happens again. You can't kick us out for being black. We'll come back with a lawyer for racial discrimination. Frickin' try me. Ugh, come on, kid. Let's get away from these racist pricks. The two walked away quickly. Luckily, no one else was there to see this scene. We continued the garage sale like normal for a few more hours. So, it was a pretty eventful day. Our next story was posted by user It's Fish 20, titled, Entitled Mum Thinks Her Family is Entitled to My Balcony. So, my significant other and I live in a high-rise downtown Chicago. The way our building is set up, only the corner units get balconies, and the rest just have windows you can open. These balconies are 100% private and part of your unit. I pay for this, and it's great to be able to go outside and not have another person sitting just to the left of me. Our neighbours, who were an elderly couple, moved out in April, and the unit has been bought by a family of 3. The kid is about 3 and so far has been pretty quiet, or at least we can't hear her through the walls. Anyway, last night I was coming in from the basement storage area with my dog and our small grill, because it's finally is warm enough to cook outside and enjoy it. The mum was in the hallway and asked where I was going with a grill, as it was a fire hazard inside, and I mentioned my balcony. Well, that's when she instantly began her tirade about not being able to get any of the public balconies on the floor. She'd been trying all the corner doors and all were locked, mine included. Now, mind you, this is maybe the 3rd time I've met this woman. She'd lived there for about 2 months now, and she's been trying to get into our apartment to use the balcony. Our door is always locked. It's locked the second one of us gets home and stays locked. I tell her that the only public balcony type space is the roof deck, and she yells at me. Says in her contract she has a balcony she can use, and demands to let her use mine. I just laughed, and at this point my neighbour across the hall was coming home. He has another of the 4 balconies and stops to say hi amidst her yelling at me. She asks who he is, and he says her other neighbour across from me, and she goes into the same crap with him. We both explain to her that no, she has no such thing in her contract or lease, and if she has an issue, to go talk with the door staff and ask them or go to management. She got mad and went inside at that point, and my across the hall neighbour and I just laughed about it and talked about the new Zelda game coming out. Epic. Our next story was posted by user Maluria, titled, Entitled Parent Kills Her Child. Just a heads up, this happened a few months ago, and most of the details on it are still vague, so this might be lacking in detail and be kinda short. So my city of Tulsa has a driveway and walkway near the Arkansas River called, well, Riverside. It's always been on one of the nicest parts of town, as it basically runs through Tulsa and even onto another town. A few months ago, the city put in some scooters to be able to rent to ride on Riverside. The entitled mother and her kid, 5-year-old boy, rented a scooter with one of her friends. All is normal, right? Wrong. The entitled mother put her kid with her on the scooter, and as if that wasn't stupid enough, began swerving onto the road into oncoming traffic. Several people barely miss her and the kid, still with her on this one scooter mind you, causing no shortage of people stopping and honking at her and telling her off. As you can see from the title, you know how this is going to end. Eventually, entitled mother swerves out of the way of an SUV, causing her poor little boy to fall off and be hit by the SUV she tried to avoid. The driver fled the scene but turned himself in the next day, charged with leaving the scene of a fatal collision, causing an accident without a valid driver's license, and driving with a suspended license. The silver lining, if you could call it that compared to the life of the boy this careless binch of an entitled mother wasted, is that the entitled mother has been charged with negligent homicide, a misdemeanor in Oklahoma, and child neglect, a felony. Here is a link to the news article about it, and you guys can go into this one if you'd like. It's the 4th link in the description. Edit: I've seen a few people ask where the entitlement comes in, and I see it in how she purposely drove into oncoming traffic like she owned the road, like she was taunting the cars to try and hit her. Our next story was posted by user Mathman2021, titled, "Entitled Mum Tries to Steal My Mum's Purchased Parking Space." So here is the cast. M is my mum, EM entitled mum, and P is principal. So when I was in 1st grade, my mum would drop my siblings and I off at school every day. She purchased a parking space reserved for her because she would park in her spot to drop us off rather than waiting in line. And she also helped in school events a lot. The parking spot had a sign that said, "Reserved for Mathman 2022's mum." So, one day as my mum was pulling into the school, another car was parking in her spot. My mum kept her cool and found a parking space much farther out, then ran over to stop the driver before she went into the school so that my mum could get her stop back. On this specific day, my mum had a lot of supplies to carry in to help in some school event. This is paraphrased from what I remember and from what I have been told. "Excuse me, ma'am, but this is my spot." "Oh, okay." Then she kept walking into the school. Can you please move your vehicle so I can park here?" "How do I know this is even your spot?" Because my name is on the sign right in front of your car." "Please, ma'am, I purchased this spot. Just move your vehicle." "No, I got here first, and I need the spot more." "You barely got here before me, and even if you needed the spot more, I paid for it." "But I need this spot to walk in my kid. I need to get to work." "Okay, so just walk your child in, then please move." So my mom ran back to our car to wait for the entitled mother to leave. We came early anyway, so we could wait, since school wasn't starting for a few minutes. 10 minutes passed, so my mum just sent my siblings and I in, and she went back to the entitled mother. "Ma'am, please move." "Why should I have to move?" "Because this is my spot and I thought you had to go to work." "I shouldn't have to move for rich pricks like you just because you bought this spot." "This spot didn't even cost that much. I only have it because I help the school often and I need a place to carry things in." "Bullcrap. I'm staying here as long as I like." So my mum goes to retrieve the principal to help with the situation. "Ma'am, you have to move. This isn't your parking spot." "I don't have to do anything. I have the right to park here." "Ma'am, not only is this Mathman 2021 mum's spot, so she should have it anyway, she also needs it to carry in the supplies for the event she organized and supplied today for the school." "Please, ma'am." "No, I'm not moving for you freakers." "Ma'am, this is an elementary school. Please try to be calm." Eventually, the entitled mother sped off after being very late for work, and my mum took her spot to unload supplies. My mum made sure to come early for a while, and almost every day that entitled mother would show up and pull up to my mum's spot, only to find her there, Then she would dangerously speed down the parking lot to find a more distant spot. There were a few other people who stole her spot on accident, but they all apologized and moved for my mum. Edit: this actually took place during the year before kindergarten, also referred to as PK4. And our last story was posted by user Hydra Chaos, titled Entitled Kid and Entitled Mother Ruin Gaming Tournament. This happened about a year ago, so hopefully I get everything right. I went to my local Microsoft store because they were holding an Overwatch tournament. Even though I don't play that much anymore, back then, Overwatch was my life. Bought OWL jerseys and merchandise. I loved it. Anyways, I went to the tournament, and was a part of the team, Mercy Main by the way. Yes, it was spelt like that. The tournament had shared a $100 prize pool, which among 6 people wasn't so bad at the time. I would say 6 people, but then a 7th came. Entitled Kid. The story goes as follows, with the cast being me, Entitled Kid, Entitled Mother, Microsoft Employee, Teammate 1, and Teammate 2. Bidalong. Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid enter the store.
Hey, is there a spot still in the tournament?
No, unfortunately all 4 teams have been filled. Entitled Kid's face drops, so does Entitled Mother's. I'm sorry, what? We have no spots left. Well, make room. I'm sorry, but these people came earlier?
Are you saying that these people have priority over my son?
All the players heard that and started to get agitated. I'm sorry ma'am, we have another tournament next week on the same day. Would you like to pre-book for that?
No, we will be on holidays. What is that kid doing there?
Pointing at me.
Yeah, he probably doesn't play the game.
The Entitled Mother then marches towards me, and I knew I was screwed.
Excuse me, but that employee says you are no longer allowed in the tournament. Let my son play. Yeah!
He never told me that.
Well, he told us, so get up.
I put my hand up to get the attention of the employee, and he comes over. Ma'am, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. Your son has not been given permission to play. The Entitled Kid then goes for a punch, right in the jaw. To my surprise, this kid was actually quite strong, and I'm a weakling, so it hurt. Not amazingly, but it hurt.
Eat it!
Alright, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
He's not getting up though.
Teammate 1 then says, Excuse me miss, but we have been planning this for a couple of days now. On the website it warned you that teams might fill. Teammate 2 pipes in, Yeah, sorry, but he has more priority right now over you. We pre-booked 2 days ago.
When did I ask your opinion?
Teammate 2 then rolls his eyes. Entitled Mother didn't like that.
I'm sorry, but that is disrespectful. Say sorry to me now.
Entitled Kid then snatches Teammate 2's phone and bolts out of the room.
Oi! Get back here now, you little crap! You do not talk to my son like that! He has my phone! You talk crap to him! I never even looked at him!
Me, Entitled Mother, Teammate 1, Teammate 2, and Employee walk outside of the room and find that a security guard had stopped him. More people, SG, security guard, enters the story. Ma'am, what is your son doing running around the store and hiding?
He has my phone!
Security guard searches his pockets and finds the phone.
Hey, that's my son's phone, give it back!
Security guard to the Teammate 2 says, Is this your phone? Yes.
No, it's not, he's lying!
At this point, security guard knew it was one of those parents, and checked the camera footage to find out that the Entitled Kid stole the phone. Ma'am, we're gonna have to ask you to leave this store as your son has tried to steal private property.
Fine, you'll be hearing from my lawyers.
Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid then leave the store, and security guard apologizes for the inconvenience. The tournament goes on, and we are in Game 3. Out of nowhere, 2 of the computers go out. Entitled Kid had snuck back into the store and cut 2 laptop cables with scissors. Entitled Mother was later on found outside the store. They were both caught and fined $250 to replace the cables. So now the tournament has 10 computers and not 12. You need 6 to a team. The tournament was called off for the day, and we were all invited back to play next week. Mercy Main, by the way, didn't end up winning, but Teammate 2 and I all got complimentary gift cards to say sorry for what happened. Teammate 1, Teammate 2 and I love sharing this story to this day. Well, that's the end of the episode, guys. I'm starting to build links in the description. Soon that'll all be filled up. If you guys like the idea of a Patreon, I'd love your support. I'm going to start making new content, and I'm going to start offering bonuses. Like, if you guys want to build a channel, I'd be happy to add a Patreon tier to, have you guys do a collaboration on this channel. I've seen various channels there talk about it. Instagram link is down there right now. I'm looking at a Twitter. And yeah, anything else you guys would like to see, like the podcast, obviously you can choose to listen here or on a podcast app, that's fine. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. I've also want suggestions for accents you guys want me to work on that you'd like to see used in characters for this. I eventually do want to do audiobooks, which, that's a career goal for me. Anyway, have a good day. I'll inform you guys of more stuff later. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!